Good morning, my dear friends. One of my viewer asked me about, sir, tell us about and give us more insight about what are accounting cycle. What is accounting cycle? So he was more interested in uh, knowing about the complete process of accounting cycle, how the accounting is starting at what phase and what is the final phase and final outcome of the accounting transactions he wanted to know. So, my dear friends, with his request, I'm going to share with you about the 8 steps in accounting cycle. So, these 8 steps in the accounting cycles are comprehensively cover the entire accounting process and its outcome. The outcome of the accounting cycle is basically the financial statements, basis that the entire decisions are being taken. Regulatory authorities are also more interested in financial statements, and there are so many other stakeholders of the financial statements like banks. We have customers, we have creditors, we have debtors, regulatory authorities for the purpose of M&A transactions. There is a lot of utility for different stakeholder for the financial statement. But how the financial statement constitute, meaning thereby is what are the main key component of the financial statement and how the financial statements are finally prepared. So as we know, the financial statement basically comprised of balance sheet, profit and loss statement, cash flow statements, notes to accounts, and related annexure. So we are not going to discuss in detail about the financial statements because information regarding the financial statement I have already covered in my previous video. You can refer my previous video for the purpose of getting the depth understanding about the financial statement. But here I am going to talk about accounting cycle and what are the steps involved in the accounting cycle. So friends, accounting cycle is basically nothing. It is a comprehensive 8 steps of recording the transactions, how the transactions are basically recorded, initiated through this cycle. The first phase of the cycle is called identifying the transactions. In second stage, we record the transaction in a journal. The third stage is called posting. The fourth stage is called unadjusted trial balance. Fifth stage of the accounting cycle is worksheet. Sixth stage is called adjusting journal entries. Seventh stage is financial statement, that is the final outcomes. And eighth stage of the accounting cycle is called closing the books. So in identifying the transaction here, in the first stage, the accounting cycle basically begin with identifying the transactions. So all the transactions must be accounted for. As we know, only the financial transaction need to be accounted for. Non-financial transactions are basically excluded in the accounting cycles. So whether the transaction relating to a sale, whether relating to a purchase, refund, inventory, and debts, asset purchase, other activities, all has to be recorded. But before recording, they need to be properly identifying. They need to be properly identified. So this is the first stage of the accounting cycle. Second stage is called recording the journal entries. So after the transaction is properly identified, the record of it need to be created. This is done through journal entry. So there are basically different types of journal entry. We have sales journal entry, we have purchase entries, we have fixed asset related entries. So through those entries, transaction is to be recorded in the books. That is also called books of bookkeeping of a transaction. Here the every transaction has a corresponding debits and credit, means every debit has a corresponding credit. So here the transaction is being recorded in the form of debit and credit. Once you record the transaction in the journal entries, the third stage comes. The third stage is called posting to the journal ledger. So in this stage what we do, once the transaction is recorded as a journal entry as per the second steps, it should be posted to an account. The account is called general ledger, which is an old fashioned term for a record keeping system for a company's financial data. And in general ledger, all accounting activities are basically summarized and sorted into one of the following categories. Means assets related transactions are keeping separate, liabilities related transactions we need to show separate, owner security related transactions are separate, and revenue and expenses related transactions need to be summarized and sorted separately. So ultimately what we are going to do here in the general ledger posting is we are basically classifying the transaction into major five heads: assets, liabilities, owner security, revenue, and expenses. Why do we do posting to the general ledger for summarizing? Because it makes easier for tax financing, identifying the transaction and the nature of the transaction, and also through the summarized form of ledger, how much cash a company has or how much it has spending or owes. So all the purpose of these transactions need to be accounted for. The stage number 4 is called preparing a trial balance. So after all transactions are logged in the general ledger, the next step is to make sure the entries are balanced out. Means every debit has a corresponding credit, and at the end the entire debit and credit balance of all the above five accounts, as we have discussed in my previous steps, need to be matched, and it has to be matched through trial balance. So here trial balance means all the transactions of debit nature and all the transaction of credit nature needs to be matched with each other. There has to be a zero difference or a nil difference between these two. Once the trial balance is prepared, we need, if there is a difference in the trial balance, let's debit and credits of the trial balance transactions are not matching with each other, then we need to analyze the worksheet, and accordingly we need to make the appropriate adjustment to make them equal. Means debit and credit of trial balance need to be matched and has to be equal. In step number 6 we do adjustment. Step number 7 we basically prepare general financial statement. So based on the trial balance, the next step of the accounting cycle is generating the financial statements. Here we basically generate the financial statements when all the necessary entries and adjustment for the accounting period has been made. It's a time to generate the financial statements, and these are the formal record of a company's financial activities must follow a specific template. So there has to be a template, and template is provided by the statute. For example, in India, the format we are using is schedule 3 as per the Companies Act for India's compliant company, and for non-India's compliant company you can refer my previous video wherein I have clearly mentioned about what kind of schedule we are using for Indian accounting financial statements. Whereas in US we follow the US GAAP, where the financial statements format are as per the US GAAP, and in another countries where the IFRS are used. So IFRS compliant countries are also have their own financial statement formats, so they have to follow that format. But ultimate the purpose is that we have to prepare 4 5 financial statements. One is balance sheet, income statement, cash flow statement, notes to accounts, and in some countries we also prepare social responsibility accounting. So meaning is we have to prepare the financial statement, but financial statement has to be prepared in the format as prescribed by the government or statute of that country. In the last step what we do, we close the books. Closing the books here means after all the financial statements are completed, it's a time now to close the books. This can be a good time to reflect and compare the firm performance with the other period and peers, and further analysis could reveal area for improvement and highlight where the company has done well. So in the last stage of closing the books, we basically what we do common size income financial statement analysis. We compare our financial statement with the other period, we compare our financial statement with other peers. So these are all comes under the last steps called closing the books. So closing of the books also makes the start of next accounting year, and the cycle is complete, and it's a time to begin the process again and starting with step 1. So ultimately I hope I have covered the entire accounting cycle within these 8 steps. Now you have get the relevant understanding and detailed understanding about how the accounting cycle works, and basis of this accounting cycle our financial statements are prepared, and we have to report this financial statement to the authority or our respective shareholder in the format which is prescribed by the appropriate authority of that particular country. And also this is also known as applicable financial reporting framework in some countries, because audit has to be done as per the appropriate audit authority. So they need financial statements and they have their own financial reporting framework. So these are also known as the financial appropriate financial reporting framework for the purpose of audit also. Meaning I mean to say, I want to say that financial statement is the final outcome of the accounting cycle. Auditor is also follow the same same financial reporting framework for the purpose of their audit, and accordingly submit their audit to the government. So both the purpose of financial statement for stakeholders as well as the financial statement for the purpose of audit are the same, and the auditor prepare their audit report on the audit of this financial statement and submit it to the management or the government or the governance authority of of a company or the government, and complete the necessary legal requirement relating to audit. So my dear friends, I hope, I'm expecting that you have get some relevant understanding about the accounting cycle, financial statement, the format of the financial statement, how we prepare the financial statement, the purpose of preparing the financial statement, and how the auditor use the financial statement. So in my next topic, definitely I will come up with a new concept or new content with you. If you like my channel, if you like my content, if you like my information, so please give me thumbs up or subscribe my channel, and we will see you soon with a new topic. Till then, stay blessed, stay good health. May God bless you all. Thank you very much.